Hey, Todd Smith, MoneyFromApps.com. I'm here today to do episode 2 of the app developer submitted questions. So last week we got into episode 1, and it's a pretty long episode, some good questions. I think this week it's going to be a little shorter. So let's jump right into it. Sorry if I look a little out of it. Just got back from a few hour bike ride. It was pretty hot out. Haven't ate yet, but so here let's head first. So question number 1 is probably the more longer one. It's about new policy. So I had a gentleman reach out to me that I've talked to in the past that had bought our Mega Jackpot Slots template, and this was totally random. And they also are kind of, I don't want to give too much information because some people probably don't want it out there, but they're also they have their own sort of SDK and a platform in the mobile space, and they wanted to do their own casino apps. And I've seen this before with platforms. A lot of times they have their own things. They want to do their own apps, so they're on the side of helping developers do cool things. But then they see the successes of the people actually publishing the app, so they get into that as well. So I'm assuming that's what they do on the app side. So it's funny because the name is a little longer than just A, but again, I didn't really want to reveal it. Just a little bit of privacy. So the name is A, but on point number A, or question A, it's kind of like a 3-part. I just wanted to quickly ask about new policies of suspending duplicated or reskinned repetitive content apps in the Apple App Store. So I added Apple App Store when he originally reached out earlier today. I assumed it was Apple, because he was talking about policies and reskinned and things like that. So this didn't have Apple, but I added it so I could answer this question because I responded to him answering this, and I come to find out that he's actually asking about Google. So as far as the Apple Store, if you just go to Google and there's another question, I think question 4, where we get into spam apps. But as far as new policies go, I remember last August, I had this blog post. It's called The Cleansing Wave of Apple, Reducing Spam and Reskin. So this is kind of going to go with question number 4. So question 4 will be a bit shorter because I've already referenced this. But if you haven't had a chance to check out this post, go to MoneyFromApps/blog and go back a few pages. You're probably not going to remember this link, but just go for that title. So in the past few months, a lot of people have been talking about rejections, blah, blah, blah. So just go read the post. My take on it is they're getting rid of a bunch of apps that no one's even looking at or monetizing anymore. So why not? There's probably a lot of keywords, a lot of ranking from the reskin days that are still showing horrible apps. So if we get them out of the way, it gives the people that are still actually trying to publish apps and make money a better chance of ranking organically, because these days, it seems to be all about paid acquisition, or you're getting lucky, or, you're having an influencer share your app. So as far as organic searches, I would rather have more authentic apps at the top than things that just happen to get 1 million downloads like 5 years ago. So I'm sure their algorithm adjusts for that. As far as user activity and how many downloads recently and all that. But there really are, if you search certain keywords, there's apps that come up that are just awful. And there's apps at the bottom that are really good, and they just haven't made it to the top yet. So that's kind of my take on the policy. I like the policy. I like that they're making it more difficult and that they're holding people to higher standards, because it makes us all better. And it makes us really think about the idea, is this app something somebody actually wants? Now, you can usually get your answer if it's a paid app, because somebody's usually not going to hand over their money unless they think they're going to get some value out of it. But there's a lot of these free apps and even paid apps that just are very much under-delivering, and it makes everybody else look bad. So I vote to, not that I get a vote, but I vote that, we just keep up cleaning up the App Store. I'm out of it. We keep cleaning up the App Store and holding ourselves to a higher standard. And I don't want to single anybody out. I don't want to single out anybody that's wondering about this or submitting any questions about, new policies and spam apps. But what I've found in the past with, if I'm worried about submitting an app and worried it might get rejected for the fact that it's coming off of a template or it's, going to get labeled as spam or something like that, it hasn't happened very often. And sometimes, at least these days, it's for a different reason. It's just for a different reason, different features and things that we're still testing. But as far as on the side of spam and really putting something out there that I'm worried Apple won't approve, if I would be worried about that, there's a reason for it. So it's kind of that common sense thing. Like if you're really worried that you're not going to get your app approved, well then maybe ask yourself, well, why should they approve it? And work backwards and be like, if they ask or something comes up, can you argue the value of your app? Can you argue that it's not just something that 100,000 people already did, and you're not doing any better? So have you added any custom features? Is there a unique angle? Is it a unique niche? Are you serving somebody? It's kind of like with emoji apps. So there's thousands and thousands of emoji apps in the store, but and this may change, and I hope it doesn't change next week, but they're still allowing you to do certain niches and things like that. They're also allowing you to publish an emoji app when there's already one of that dog breed in the store. Just like, it's not like, you get one emoji app for one breed and then that's it and the door's closed. But if you are doing something unique and you're providing something in a niche that is previously ignored, I think you have a better shot of convincing Apple that there's a lot of value there. So I'm not gonna talk anymore about that. New policies. Do you have the magic solution? No, and that's another question. If you're looking for a magic bullet, there's a good chance that again, not trying to single anybody out, but there's a good chance that you may be going down the wrong path, because if you're doing things the right way, you shouldn't really need a magic bullet to get out of a situation that could be undesirable. So C, what about Google? Follow-up question. So here's the catch. This gentleman did message me earlier today, and I had mentioned, or I think I had asked, or I had said, hey, I'll answer this question in the next few days. I'm doing these weekly videos. Are you still getting our email? So I wanted to make sure that this person was going to get the email that would have the video where I answer the question. And he said, yeah, we're getting your emails, but we're not watching the videos. It's a time thing. And I'm like, well, I've only sent one video. So I assumed what he was saying was, hey, we get your emails, but we don't really read them because we're too busy, which is totally fine. I get it. But at the same time, if you're asking a question and trying to figure out a magic bolt solution or trying to figure out policies or what you did wrong or what angle to take or all these things, and you can't watch a video, I understand if I send an hour video, that's a bit much. But what I did last week and what I'll do with all these videos is I have like a table of contents. So if there's 5 questions, who knows if there's always going to be 5. It'll say, go to minute 7 or go to 7 minutes 30 seconds to see question 2. Go to whatever it is. So if you can't watch an answer 2 to 10 minutes for your question in a video that somebody's taking the time to answer a question and put out there, then I doubt that finding the solution is going to be any quicker. So and I said with all due respect, and I don't know if he's going to watch this video or not because he said he was busy. Let me look here. And again, I totally get it, but it's not this isn't about me. This isn't like, oh, I don't have time to watch Todd's videos or Money from Apps videos. I don't care about that. We all have these huge lists of things to do, and sometimes things go on for weeks, months, years before we get to them. I get it. We have priorities. We have things that just don't make the cut, and my videos probably don't make the cut for some people, and it's totally cool. But what I am saying is, it was more of an example. If you can't watch 2 to 10 minutes of a video of someone giving their opinion on how to help you, how are you going to fix the problem that you're asking them to help you fix without me? So like if you have to go figure it out and you can't spend 2 to 7, 10 minutes, whatever, looking at it in an answer, then I don't think you're going to have very good luck getting getting things into compliance or going down the right road. So that's not personal. That's just, you know, the way that I looked at it. And he was cool that he didn't get too pissed about it. But what he followed up on, and now we're at point C here, is he's saying that he was having trouble with Google. And I've never heard of somebody having trouble with Google, but I just started doing Google about a year ago. So maybe I'm not that guy. I thought you had to really do something crazy to get screwed up on Google, because you can, I mean, the way I look at it, I mean, when I publish a new Google app, I mean, yeah, I'm agreeing to the policies and I'm checking the boxes and everything else, but I don't think there's a person that's sitting at a desk going, okay, well, we're going to review the app like at Apple or however they do it. It's just, I upload the APK, I get all the things on the page and everything's good to go, and I push it to, or whatever it is, start rollout to production, and then in like 2 hours or an hour, it's live. So if you're having a problem with a Google app, then it's probably got flagged, or somebody's complained about it, you've had a lot of refunds or whatever the case. But let me see his response here. So he's saying that the app that was suspended was like a rewards app, so they can complete tasks like surveys, registration, watching videos. In exchange for points they get into PayPal gift cards. So I don't really know what the policies are these days about that. I know I was sort of working with somebody that had a similar platform on Apple maybe 2 years ago. It's changed names a few times, but it was like that. But it was more for vacations. It was called like Jackpot Vacations, and they changed the name to something else. But I don't know what the policies are for that, so sorry if I can't help you. But it seems like there's probably a fine line in there of being in compliance and not being in compliance. I don't. Let me think about this. So it was a reward app, so you get people in there in exchange. Yeah, there might be some confliction there. Who knows? There's got to be a policy problem. I mean, I don't mean to state the a common sense solution or the obvious, but I would be looking through the policies of those types of apps in Google, and then calling, or I don't know if you can call them like Apple, or email them or chat or whatever it is, and figure out like which rules are we breaking here. I'm going to move on from this. I think it's a unique situation. And the fact that it's a Google app means that there's some clear violations, regardless if they're warranted or not. Somebody thinks there's something wrong. Okay, moving on to question 2, templates. And this is from Ray. So I was chatting with Ray. He's bought some things for me over I don't want to say over the years or over the last year and a half. Templates and products, and he's doing some pretty cool stuff himself. I don't want to share his projects. I don't know if I have permission to, but Ray and I were chatting, and what I did is I basically took some of the things we were talking about and framed it in the form of a question. He knows what's going on as far as templates, and he has his point of view and everything else, but he kind of just some of the things I chat about are good to share with others. So that's what's happened for number 2 here. So I'm not saying that Ray, if you know Ray, I'm not sharing his last name, is asking this question. I'm saying that based on our conversations, he's inspired this question from some of the things we're talking about. So he said, after talking to a few people who made a lot of coin with your Mega Jackpot Slots template, let me actually... Let me bring this up. So we sent an email yesterday. If you have not got this email, then if you didn't get this email, then you're not on our email list, or maybe you got dropped off with some new compliance stuff that was going on. So again, if you didn't get this email yesterday, go to MoneyFromApps.com and in the landing page and sign up for our email list. But anyway, I sent this email, and it says how to earn 253% ROI or more. It goes over an older case study we had last year, and then the fact that I just chatted with somebody that was the same person that I did the case study on 8 months ago is still having the same luck with this. Not luck, but he's still having success with it. So after seeing this email, Ray said, after talking to a few people who made a lot of coin with your Mega Jackpot Slots template. I have to say you're too modest with selling the value and having this template in bonuses. I think the value or the offer I was talking about, I'm going to do some crazy summer sale. We're going to do a large discount, a bunch of bonuses, possible Skype call if you want it, discount, dev and design work, and all these things. And Ray's cool. Again, he's bought some stuff from me. He seems to be very knowledgeable, and he's doing some custom projects and changes to not only some projects that I think that he's acquired from us, but I'm sure some other things too. So can you elaborate a little on Apple rejecting template apps? I've had people ask me, although I'd explained the situation figuratively before on to you. So again, this is kind of worded based off our conversation. I think Ray understands what's going on. So thanks for the inspiration, Ray. So if you go to Google and type in Apple rejecting reskin app, you see TechCrunch, and kind of cool, we're there too. I didn't write that. That was before we owned the site, but it looks like we're in 2. I didn't even know that. But anyway, read this article, go to Google. Google's your friend. I do it all the time, right? So read this. This is your TechCrunch answer. My answer is going to be, I already showed this in another question, I'm all for it. I think that I'm not saying that some people don't have apps that should not be rejected. I'm saying that overall, the kind of people that are going to abuse this are the people that should be worried. So like if you go out and buy a software template, here, let's break it down. Let's do the math here. So Mega Jackpot Slots. If you want the behind the scenes story of what I'm about to tell you, let me okay. If you want the behind the scenes about what I'm about to tell you, go to Google, type in Sell My App, which is a marketplace site, Todd Smith. Click on this. This is before we started doing emojis, but maybe I'm an emoji here. Not that anybody cares. But anyway, read the behind the scenes story of how we acquired Mega Jackpot Slots. It's a long blog post, and there seems to be some spelling errors in it, which is odd. Not that I don't make spelling errors. There's probably a few and grammar ones in about everything that I do, but I think they were from somebody else. But here's the short version, the reasonably short version. This app was created by some talented people as far as the designs and the programming and everything else. I think it was back in like 2012, and they spent about $25,000 developing it. So this is probably back when, I'm not saying apps were starting out, but whoever did it, they were in the tech. I think they were in the software world. I don't think they were in apps. They were probably making good money in other projects, or maybe they just sold something for, 6-7 figures, something like that, and they wanted to reinvest, and they saw like all this casino thing. There's probably an article. I'm just assuming here, but probably an article talking about like how one of the big game companies, they were making millions of bucks. So like, hey, well, let's just make a slots game for $25,000 and see what happens. So they did, and I'm not saying that they totally screwed this up or anything. Nice guys, never met them. We did this deal, and there was a lot of things that could have went wrong as far as there was a lot of trust there on both sides. It was cool. It seemed like good people, but the app had in-app purchases, but it was a free version with no ads. Again, this was back in 2012. I think they published their first version. No ads, in-app purchases, but there wasn't any like countdown things for the in-app purchases. There wasn't any incentive to, hey, like come and buy some coins real quick. I'm kind of out of it, but I'm trying. There's not any there wasn't any modern things. There wasn't Facebook analytics. There wasn't Facebook sign up. to log in and track your progress, or email sign up so we could mark it and get you back into the app. There wasn't push notifications. There wasn't local notifications. There wasn't a lot of stuff, but the shell of it was solid, and it was built early on before a lot of the things I just mentioned people really knew to do. So again, not anything on them. So they spent about $25,000 doing it, and I came across the app for sale on what used to be, I think it was Apptopia or something. It's like Flippa now. Flippa is a thing now, but like Apptopia, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong with that. Oh yeah, so he was just trying to sell it for what he had in it. And I was wrong. I guess it wasn't free. He had no ads in it. There was in-app purchases, and it was 99 cents. So this was seriously a screenshot of the listing back in the day. And I tried to buy it for like a year and a half, and he kept wanting... I mean, the price kept coming down, sure, but what ended up happening is after about a year and a half, I couldn't find the listing anymore. And I was lucky enough to still, I don't know how I did it, but I found his contact information, and I negotiated a deal that was much less than $25,000, but it wasn't like, oh, like here's $100. It was, it was up there enough to be serious. I don't know. Maybe I mentioned it in here how much I bought it for. I don't remember, but I'm not going to say it in case I didn't. So yeah, basically I wired him money because for some reason he couldn't accept PayPal, and then I googled it based on his location, and they really couldn't accept PayPal. So I thought it was a scam. I thought there was a 50-50 chance, like I wasn't going to get the project, it wasn't going to work, it was going to be riddled with errors, whatever the case. So what we did is 50% up front and 50% after, and I wire this money. Everything works out. So I get this cool app template, and then we take it and upgrade it with a lot of the things that I just told you that it didn't have originally. Okay, so the reason of telling you that story is I bought something way less than $25,000, but if you want to publish your own slots game, even if you had to pay what I did at discount because they didn't care, you're still not going to spend, most people aren't going to spend, let's say 10 grand to develop their own slots game. I'm not saying it can't be done for less, but let's say 10 grand, it's a round number. Most people aren't going to say, hey, I want to publish an app. It's got to be casino, right? People talk about casino. I have $10,000 I'm going to put into it. No. People are going to use an app template because you can take something that costs $25,000 or more. I'm sure there's some that can be maybe that you can't get your hands on, but I know there's some out there with the modern things they have now that are way up there, I'm sure, to reproduce. But you're not going to spend 25 grand. You're not going to spend 10 grand. But what if we set it up in a way that you can publish your own game for, $800 to $1,000? That's much more in reach for most people. So as far as why templates exist, let's go back to this. Why templates exist and why I'm not worried about this is because if you, as an app developer, as a non-spammer, scammer, whatever, you go out and you spend $1,000 on an app template, or $700-800, I think our summer deal is going to be like $697 or something, ridiculously low for what it is. I think the bonuses are about $1,500 if sold separately, and you're getting the bonuses for free. So anyway, if you buy a template, add in awesome graphics, maybe you have some custom development work done for a few $100 to make like a new bonus game or something cool, your own angle on it, your own niche, whatever the case is, you can't be worried that Apple isn't going to accept you because you're doing something unique. You're providing value. You have your own angle. You have your own niche. You're doing your own themes. Like I said, maybe you're doing a bonus game, a new bonus game. I don't know, but what I'm saying is that's not the kind of stuff you have to be worried about. What you have to be worried about is when I was talking about party slots. If you don't know what party slots is, it's a template that Carter Thomas bought from somebody else, kind of like I did with Mega Jackpot Slots, and I actually bought it. I think I got it half off. He used to sell for $750. I bought it on like a 50 off weekend. So and ended up publishing 4 or 5 versions. And this was back in the reskin day, where you could publish games like this, and they wouldn't be that good, but they would still make anywhere from 500 to 1,500, 2,000 with no paid traffic. So that's why people were creating hundreds of copies. Do the math on that. So that's kind of where I think a lot of this started with the reskinning. I think the casino abused it. I think I know they made. I'm sure it's more, but let's just keep a round number at. I'm sure they made $300,000 to $500,000. I'm sure selling that template. When it was hot, okay, and then of course a lot of people probably shared it, and then they started uploading and sold it themselves, and he sold it off. So that, I think, flooded a lot of things, and it has people worried. It's not that it's not a good slots template. It's definitely not Mega Jackpot slots. In a weird story, just for the hell of it, let's throw this in here. He ended up buying an app, a reskin of Mega Jackpot slots called, I think it was called like Billionaire. No, not Billionaire Slots. It was called like, I still have it on my phone. And you can see me, so I can bring it up. I kept it because I don't know if it's still in the store, but I wanted a copy of it. Come on, where are you at? Here it is. Yeah. It's Wall Street Slots. Wall Street Slots. So he bought this from somebody, I don't know, for $2,000-3,000, thinking that he was getting another Party Slots, an upgraded version of Party Slots that at the time he was going to license to his people and make money again. And this was right about the time. I don't know how it happened randomly, but I was chatting back and forth with him, Carter. I don't remember if I said his, so Carter over at Blue Cloud, and he had an event in Amsterdam, which I went to. And somehow it came up, but he found out that he just bought a reskin of what I had, Mega Jackpot slots, and he didn't own the rights. And I think he ended up pushing traffic to it and maybe making his money back, maybe he didn't. But that was just a fun little story. So, of course, then he couldn't license it. And we were going to do a few licensing deals several times. It just never really, timing never lined up. So as far as templates go, everything I just told you was a long way of saying that if templates didn't exist, there would be way less apps, and I don't think Apple is going to just boot anybody that has any template, because the developers are going to go, whew, those developer fees are going to go down, all their revenue, their 30% is going to go away, and it's not that they're hurting for money, right? But what I'm saying is, if you're providing value and you're not trying to publish 100 versions or 10 versions or even 5 versions of the same game, I think you're going to be all right. If I was going to publish a new version of Mega Jackpot Slots right now, I would have one version. I would do one version. I would do awesome themes. I would create a few bonus games. I would do some pop-ups, and to incentivize people with some countdowns to buy in-app purchases with some specials. I would hook it with an email software, so I could send automated emails based on user activity, just some simple things, and I would roll with it. And over time, I would come up with some new things, and I would have my own game, and I would be doing that for way less than 10 grand and way less than $25,000. And that's why app templates exist, and that's why they're going to be okay. So let's move on to the next question.